Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. B1. Marcus Aurelius. Women don't fall for the nice guy. They fall for the man who knows who he is, moves through life with confidence, and doesn't beg for attention. They fall for men with traits that society calls bad boy qualities, but these aren't about being toxic or reckless. They're about strength, control, and self-respect. The Stoics understood human nature better than anyone. They knew that men who lead, who stay in control of their emotions, and who refuse to beg for approval naturally command respect, not just from other men, but from women too. And in this video, we are breaking down 7 key traits that make so-called bad boys irresistible. Watch until the end, because once you master these, you'll never chase again. Women will come to you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts or personal experiences. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1: Independence. The man who stands alone is the man who commands attention. True independence isn't about isolation, it's about strength. It's the ability to walk your own path without seeking approval, to make your own decisions without hesitation, and to live by your own standards without compromise. Independence isn't just about financial stability or having your own space. It's a mindset, a way of being. It means you don't need anyone to complete you because you are already whole. Many men make the mistake of looking for fulfillment in external sources, relationships, friendships, validation from society. They mold themselves to fit in, to be liked, to be accepted. But the moment you change yourself to gain approval, you lose the essence of who you are. Independence means standing firm in your identity. It means refusing to change your core values just to fit someone else's expectations. And when it comes to women, it means you don't make them the center of your universe. Most men fail in relationships, not because they aren't good enough, but because they make women their priority instead of their purpose. They cancel plans, abandon their ambitions, and place too much importance on how they're perceived. They try too hard, give too much, and expect love in return. But what they don't realize is that this very behavior is what makes them less attractive. Neediness is weakness, and women can sense it immediately. Neediness signals that you lack control over your own life. It shows that you're relying on someone else to fill the gaps in your confidence, in your self-worth, and in your direction. But here's the truth: no woman wants to be responsible for making a man feel whole. She wants a man who is already fulfilled. A man who has his own path, his own mission, his own purpose. Look at history. The strongest men, the warriors, the leaders, the philosophers, weren't chasing validation. They weren't waiting for approval before taking action. They walked their own path with confidence, and people naturally followed. Alexander the Great didn't seek permission. Marcus Aurelius didn't beg for approval. They had direction. They had purpose. And that's what made them powerful. This is why women are drawn to independent men. A man who has his own vision creates a gravitational pull. He doesn't need to chase. He doesn't need to impress. His energy alone attracts people toward him. When you focus on your mission, when you build something of value, when you become a man who is driven by his own ambition rather than the need for companionship, you create an aura of strength that others can't ignore. Here's the key: stop making her your mission. The moment a woman becomes the center of your world, you lose yourself. A woman should be a complement to your life, not the foundation of it. Your purpose must come first. Your vision must come first. If you have a strong direction, if you are already thriving without her, she will naturally want to be a part of your world. And here's the paradox: the moment you stop needing her is the moment she starts needing you. When a man is fully content in his own skin, fully engaged in his mission, and fully independent in his mindset, he becomes irreplaceable. Women don't fall for men who need them. They fall for men who inspire them. Independence is power. It's the ability to be alone without being lonely. It's the discipline to build a life that excites you, with or without anyone else in it. If you want to be a man who is truly respected, truly desired, and truly free, then stop looking for something outside yourself to complete you. You are already enough. Now, go build. Chapter 2. Confidence. Confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about certainty. True confidence isn't loud, boastful, or performative. It's quiet, unshakable, and deeply rooted in self-assurance. A man who radiates confidence doesn't need to prove himself to others. He doesn't need to seek validation because he already knows his worth. Women are wired to be attracted to men who exude strength, self-assurance, and an unwavering belief in themselves. Not the guy who asks, "Do you like me?" but the guy who assumes, "Of course she does." Why? Because confidence signals leadership, capability, and control. It shows that a man is comfortable in his own skin, unafraid of judgment, and secure in his identity. Throughout history, confidence has been a survival trait. In ancient times, a confident man was a leader, a warrior, a provider. He was the one others relied on in times of danger. He wasn't the hesitant, uncertain man waiting for permission. He was the one taking decisive action. Weakness and doubt were liabilities that could cost a man everything. And while society has evolved, human nature has not. The primal instinct to seek strength, stability, and certainty in a man still exists today. The problem is, most men misunderstand confidence. They think it's about puffing out their chest, acting tough, or speaking loudly. They fake dominance, hoping to appear more attractive. But true confidence can't be faked, it must be earned. And the only way to develop it is through experience, resilience, and self-mastery. Real confidence doesn't come from pretending. It comes from competence. It comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you can handle it. It's built through action, not theory. A man who has faced challenges and overcome them is unshaken by uncertainty. He doesn't rely on approval from others because he's already proven himself to himself. To build confidence, you must embrace discomfort. Growth never happens in comfort zones. Push yourself physically, train your body, test your limits, and develop discipline. Challenge yourself mentally, expand your knowledge, sharpen your skills, and cultivate emotional intelligence. Step into situations where failure is possible, and instead of avoiding rejection, embrace it. Because the more you face resistance and keep moving forward, the stronger you become. Confidence isn't about never failing. It's about knowing failure won't break you. The most attractive men aren't the ones who never struggle, they're the ones who remain composed, no matter what. A truly confident man doesn't seek validation, he doesn't beg for attention, and he doesn't chase approval. Why? Because he knows he is enough. His presence alone is magnetic. And that's why confident men never chase. They don't need to. Their energy draws people in. Women are naturally intrigued by a man who isn't desperate for attention because it signals that he has options, that he is in control of his life, and that he offers value beyond just his presence. When a man carries himself with certainty, the world responds to him differently. Real confidence isn't about what you say, it's about what you do. It's about how you handle setbacks, how you carry yourself, and how you respond to challenges. If you want to be truly confident, stop looking for shortcuts. Stop trying to impress. Instead, become the kind of man who doesn't need external approval to feel worthy. Because once you do, confidence will no longer be something you try to project, it will be something you simply are. Chapter 3. Being direct. Nice guys hesitate. Bad boys take action. That's the difference between a man who is remembered and a man who is forgotten. Women are not drawn to uncertainty. They're not attracted to hesitation, mixed signals, or indecision. They want a man who knows what he wants and goes after it, without apology, without hesitation, and without seeking permission. A direct man doesn't waste time overanalyzing. He doesn't overthink his moves or get lost in self-doubt. He doesn't wait for the perfect moment. He creates the moment. He acts. And that action sets him apart from the countless men who sit on the sidelines, hoping for an opportunity that never comes. Think about it. In every movie, the bad boy doesn't ask for permission to pursue the woman, he just does it. He doesn't send her polite texts, wondering if she might be free next week. He doesn't beat around the bush, trying to feel out the situation. He walks up, looks her in the eye, and says, "I want you." No fluff. No awkward pauses. No nervous energy. Just raw certainty. And she melts. Not because of his looks, his wealth, or his charm, but because of his presence. His absolute, unshakable certainty. Why? Because women don't want to guess what you're thinking. They don't want to analyze your texts, decode your subtle hints, or wonder whether you're actually interested. They don't want to play detective, piecing together clues about your attraction. They want clarity. They want a man who takes charge, who makes decisions, who leads without hesitation. They want a man who walks into a room and makes it clear, without words, that he is in control of himself and his desires. Being direct is powerful because it signals something deeper: courage. It takes guts to walk up to a woman and say exactly what you mean. It takes confidence to make a move without fearing the outcome. And confidence is magnetic. Women crave it, and men respect it. The guy who isn't afraid of rejection is the guy who dominates every situation. He's the one who commands attention, not because he demands it, but because his presence is undeniable. Nice guys, on the other hand, hesitate. They analyze every possible outcome. They spend hours crafting the perfect message. They hold back their desires, hoping she'll somehow just know that they're interested. They play it safe, afraid to make a mistake. And that hesitation? It kills attraction. Women sense it immediately. A man who is uncertain about what he wants is a man who forces the woman to lead the interaction. And when that happens, attraction dies. The truth is, women don't reject men for being too forward. They reject them for being weak. If you walk up to her with shaky hands, a nervous voice, and an energy that screams, "Please like me," she'll feel nothing. But if you walk up with a steady gaze, a calm voice, and the confidence to own your desire, she'll feel something, even if she doesn't immediately say yes. Because deep down, every woman craves a man who isn't afraid to claim what he wants. Does this mean you should be reckless? No. Being direct isn't about being rude, aggressive, or disrespectful. It's about being clear. If you want her, show her. If you're interested, say it. If you want to take her out, don't ask, "Would you maybe like to get coffee sometime?" Say, "Let's grab a drink. Wednesday at 8. A direct man makes decisions. He doesn't throw out vague, weak invitations. He leads. And women respond to that leadership instinctively. And here's the thing, being direct isn't just about women. It's about life. The man who hesitates loses opportunities, not just in dating, but in business, friendships, and personal growth. The world belongs to those who act, who take risks, who put themselves on the line without fear. And that's why the direct man always wins in the end. A direct man walks into a room and exudes control, not over others, but over himself. He carries himself with a certainty that draws people in. He doesn't rush his words or fidget nervously. He speaks with authority, even in casual conversations. And when he makes a decision, he stands by it. That's what makes people respect him. That's what makes women want to be around him. Women test men to see if they're direct or if they crumble under pressure. If she asks, "Why should I go out with you?" or the weak man stammers, trying to prove his worth, the strong man simply smirks and says, "Because you'll have the time of your life." He's not pleading for her attention. He's inviting her into his world. And that's the difference. Being direct also means not playing games. You don't act disinterested just to seem cool. You don't wait 3 days to call. You're honest. You're straightforward. If you're into her, she knows. And if she's not interested, you move on without bitterness. The direct man doesn't dwell on rejection. He sees it as part of life, part of the game, and keeps moving forward with the same confidence. This approach to life separates leaders from followers. In business, the man who waits for the perfect time to start his venture never gets started. The man who hesitates in negotiations ends up getting less than he deserves. The man who waits for people to recognize his value stays invisible. But the man who moves, who speaks with conviction, who puts himself out there, he wins. So if you want to stand out, stop waiting. Stop overthinking. Stop hesitating. The man who moves first always has the advantage. The man who speaks with clarity and purpose is always remembered. And the man who is direct about his desires, without shame or fear, is the man who women want and other men wish they could be. Drop a comment below if you've ever witnessed the power of directness in action. Like, subscribe, and keep striving to become the most confident, decisive version of yourself. Chapter 4: Humor. If you can make her laugh, you can make her fall. It's not just a saying, it's the truth. Laughter bypasses logic. It creates an emotional reaction that sticks, making her feel good when she's around you, even if she doesn't know why. And that's the key to attraction: emotion. If you can trigger the right emotions in a woman, she won't just like you, she'll crave your presence. But humor isn't just about cracking jokes. It's not about becoming a stand-up comedian or memorizing punchlines. In fact, most guys fail at humor because they think it's about being funny. It's not. It's about energy, timing, and most importantly, chemistry. A man with a sharp wit, who knows how to tease, challenge, and create playful tension, becomes unforgettable. He's the kind of guy a woman can't help but replay in her mind later, smiling at the way he made her feel. The trick, though, is this: don't try too hard. Forced humor is painful. Over-explaining a joke, begging for a reaction, or laughing too much at your own words all scream insecurity. Real humor is effortless. It's subtle. It's the kind of teasing that makes her stop and think, "Wait, is he messing with me?" That little bit of mystery keeps her engaged. It makes her intrigued. A man who can dance between sarcasm and sincerity, who can joke with confidence, signals something deeper: he's in control. And control is attractive. Why? Because humor isn't just about making her laugh. It's a demonstration of intelligence. Quick wit shows a sharp mind. Social awareness shows emotional intelligence. Playful confidence shows a man who doesn't take himself or the world too seriously. These are the traits of a man who is dominant in the best way. A man who can handle himself in any situation, who can keep his cool while making others feel good, is a man people naturally gravitate toward. Think about it. When a guy is nervous, stiff, and overly serious, the energy in the room dies. But when he is playful, when he makes fun of the situation, when he knows how to flip awkward moments into something fun, suddenly he becomes magnetic. Women don't want a guy who takes everything too seriously. They want someone who can turn an ordinary moment into something exciting, who can add a little unpredictability to their day. A guy who can challenge them, tease them, and make them feel alive. And that's what humor does. It injects life into your interactions. When done right, it makes her feel comfortable, but also keeps her on her toes. She never quite knows what you're going to say next. And that unpredictability? It's addictive. It makes you stand out from every other boring, predictable guy who just nods and agrees with everything she says. But the key is balance. Too many guys either go overboard, trying too hard to be the funny guy, or they avoid humor altogether, fearing they'll say the wrong thing. Both approaches fail. The real secret is to be playful, but always in control. To tease, but never to be cruel. To joke, but never to seek approval. The moment you start chasing laughs, you've lost your power. The moment you make humor effortless, you've won the game. So, what's the difference between effortless humor and forced humor? It comes down to presence. The guy who makes a joke and then nervously waits for approval will never be as attractive as the guy who makes a joke and doesn't care whether she laughs or not. The guy who is confident in his humor, who throws out playful comments without worrying about how they'll be received, holds the upper hand. He's not seeking validation, he's just having fun. And that's contagious. Women are naturally drawn to men who bring positive energy. Think about the men who seem to have women hanging on to their every word. They aren't the ones sulking in the corner, being overly serious. They're the ones laughing, making light-hearted comments, making the people around them feel good. A man who can make a woman laugh has a direct route to making her feel safe, happy, and engaged. That's the foundation of deep attraction. But there's another layer to humor: flotation. Playful teasing is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. When done correctly, it creates tension, intrigue, and chemistry. Lightly challenging her, playfully poking fun at something she says, or responding with a confident smirk instead of a needy compliment makes you stand out. It makes her work to impress you, which flips the usual dynamic where men try too hard to gain her approval. Think about this: as a guy who constantly showers her with compliments and laughs too hard at her jokes might seem sweet, but he also seems desperate. On the other hand, a guy who playfully teases her, makes witty observations, and doesn't act like she's the queen of the universe. That's the guy who gets remembered. He's the guy who keeps her thinking about him long after the conversation ends. And humor isn't just about making her feel good, it's about making yourself feel good, too. When you develop the ability to laugh at life, to take things lightly, to enjoy the moment, you become someone people want to be around. Women aren't just looking for a man who makes them laugh, they're looking for a man who enjoys life, who isn't weighed down by insecurities, who can roll with the punches and have fun in any situation. So if you want to be unforgettable, don't just talk. Make her laugh. Make her feel something. Make her look at you differently than every other guy she's met before. Humor isn't just a tool, it's a weapon. And if you wield it correctly, you'll separate yourself from the forgettable and step into the realm of the irresistible. Chapter 5: Body Language and Presence. Before you ever say a word, she already knows if she's drawn to you. Attraction isn't just about what you say, it's about how you carry yourself, the energy you bring into a room, and the silent signals you send before you even open your mouth. A man's body language reveals more than his words ever could. It tells the world whether he's confident or insecure, whether he's a leader or just another follower, whether he's worth paying attention to or easily ignored. Bad boys own the space they stand in. They don't fidget like nervous boys who can't handle a woman's gaze. They don't slouch like a man who's been beaten down by life. They don't shrink themselves to appear more polite or less intimidating. Instead, they take up space unapologetically, moving with an effortless, self-assured presence that demands attention. A man like this doesn't need to announce himself. His very existence makes people notice. A woman can sense this instantly. She doesn't need a conversation to know whether you're a man she respects or one she dismisses. She watches how you walk, how you sit, how you stand when you're in a group. She notices the subtle things, the way you hold eye contact without hesitation, the way you slow down your movements instead of rushing like a man desperate for approval, the way your body remains loose and controlled rather than tense and uncertain. These tiny details, often overlooked by the average man, are exactly what separate those who naturally attract women from those who constantly struggle. Confidence isn't something you say, it's something you show. A man who carries himself with authority doesn't need to tell anyone he's confident. It's obvious in the way he moves, the way he holds his frame, the way he exists in a room without trying too hard. Women pick up on this in seconds. They don't respond to rehearsed pickup lines or forced bravado. They respond to energy, to poise, to a man who exudes certainty without needing validation. Most men get this completely wrong. They think confidence is about talking louder, puffing up their chest, or forcing an exaggerated sense of dominance. In reality, true confidence is quiet. It's the way a man remains unbothered, even under pressure. It's the way he holds himself like he belongs wherever he is. It's in the way he moves with purpose, never rushing, never desperate for attention, never looking around for approval. This is what women recognize immediately, and it's why they are drawn to certain men without even realizing why. Mastering body language isn't about faking confidence, it's about embodying it. The way you stand, the way you move, the way you carry yourself when no one is watching, this is what shapes how people see you. Women don't need a conversation to know if you're attractive. They see it in how you step into a room, how you hold yourself in silence, how you interact with the world without seeking permission. When you own your presence, you don't need to say much. Your body language speaks volumes, and the right women will be listening. Chapter 6: Emotional Control. A true bad boy never loses his grip. He doesn't get rattled by insults, doesn't explode with anger, and doesn't let pressure break him. He stays cool, steady, and in control, always. His emotions don't dictate his actions, he dictates his emotions. This is what sets him apart. He's the kind of man who walks into a room and instantly commands respect, not because he's loud or aggressive, but because his presence speaks of unshakable confidence. Why is this so damn attractive? Because emotional control signals strength, and strength is magnetic. It tells the world that no matter what happens, you remain unshaken. You're the eye of the storm, calm while everything around you is chaos. Women are drawn to this because it creates a sense of security and stability. A man who doesn't panic, who doesn't beg for reassurance, who doesn't lash out like a child. That's the kind of man she trusts, the kind of man who stands above the rest. He's the type of man who makes her feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. Most men fail this test miserably. They overreact at the smallest inconvenience. They take things personally. They let their emotions drive them instead of the other way around. A woman rejects them. They lose it. Someone disrespects them. They go into a rage. Life throws a challenge at them. They break down. These men think their emotions make them authentic, but in reality, they just expose their weakness. No woman wants to feel like she has to babysit a grown man who can't handle himself. Think about the difference between a king and a commoner. The commoner reacts emotionally to everything. He whines, complains, and throws tantrums when things don't go his way. The king, on the other hand, remains composed. He doesn't let petty drama affect him. He doesn't concern himself with meaningless arguments or seek validation from others. His presence alone commands authority, and he speaks only when necessary. When he does, people listen. But the man who controls his emotions? He controls the entire room. People respect him because he doesn't flinch under pressure. Women admire him because he exudes confidence without needing to say a word. He doesn't need to prove himself with loud outbursts or desperate reactions. His composure speaks for itself. This is why truly powerful men rarely have to raise their voices. They don't have to. Their aura does the talking. So how do you master emotional control? First, stop letting outside forces dictate your internal state. No one can make you angry, insecure, or desperate unless you allow it. The moment you let someone else control your emotions, you've handed them power over you. A strong man understands this. He refuses to let the opinions, words, or actions of others shake him. He is the master of himself. Second, practice restraint. The next time something irritates you, force yourself to pause before reacting. Take a breath. Observe. And then decide, rationally, how to respond. Most men react impulsively, letting emotions take the wheel. But the man who can delay his reaction, who can take a moment to think before he speaks or acts, is the man who always stays in control. Third, embrace Stoic thinking. Understand that life will test you, people will push you, and women will challenge you. That's not a problem, it's an opportunity to prove that you are unshakable. A man who has mastered his emotions sees challenges not as threats, but as tests of his discipline. He doesn't complain. He doesn't whine. He simply adapts, overcomes, and moves forward. The greatest warriors in history knew this. The Spartans, the samurai, the Roman generals, they all trained their minds to remain calm in the face of chaos. A warrior who panics in battle is already dead. A man who loses his cool in life is no different. He is easily manipulated, easily broken, and easily forgotten. Stay calm. Stay composed. Keep your emotions in check, and you'll notice something powerful. People will start following your lead. Instead of reacting to the world, you'll shape it. Instead of being controlled, you'll be in control. And that's the mark of a man who commands respect, not just from women, but from everyone around him. Chapter 7. Why Bad Boys Win. The reason bad boys win isn't because they're cruel, reckless, or selfish, it's because they embody traits that women find irresistible. They don't seek approval. They don't live by someone else's rules. And they certainly don't hesitate to go after what they want. A bad boy moves with certainty. He doesn't second-guess himself. He doesn't walk on eggshells. He owns who he is and doesn't apologize for it. That energy? It's magnetic. At their core, bad boys radiate strength, confidence, and self-respect. They walk into a room and command attention, not because they demand it, but because their presence alone forces people to take notice. They don't shrink to make others comfortable. They don't try to blend in. And they never, under any circumstance, betray themselves to fit someone else's expectations. This isn't about being arrogant or rude. It's about being unapologetically yourself, about knowing that your worth isn't up for debate. Think about it. What do women complain about when it comes to nice guys? They say they're too predictable, too available, too eager to please. In other words, they lack challenge, mystery, and self-assurance. They make women their priority instead of their own mission. They wait for permission instead of taking action. They smother instead of inspire. And worst of all, they seek validation instead of standing firm in their own worth. A nice guy texts first. A bad boy texts when he feels like it. A nice guy waits for an invitation. A bad boy assumes he belongs. A nice guy asks for permission. A bad boy moves forward and lets the world adjust. The difference is night and day. Bad boys don't beg for attention. They don't chase. They attract. Why? Because they move with a sense of purpose. They aren't trying to be liked. They simply are, and the world responds accordingly. That level of certainty is intoxicating. It's why the bad boy doesn't have to try. He doesn't have to play games. He doesn't have to convince anyone of his value. He knows his worth, and that unshakable belief in himself changes the way people see him. Women don't want a man who tiptoes around them, always looking for approval, always waiting for the green light to be himself. They want a man who already knows his value, who expects her to recognize it, not because he demands it, but because he carries himself in a way that makes it undeniable. A bad boy doesn't fear rejection because he doesn't base his self-worth on whether or not a woman approves of him. If she's interested, great. If she's not, her loss. That indifference? That unwavering confidence? It drives women crazy. When a man doesn't need anything from a woman, when he's already content, already thriving, already standing on his own, she becomes the one chasing him. She's the one trying to earn his attention, his validation, his presence. The moment you stop seeking approval is the moment you become the prize. But here's the truth, you don't need to be an actual bad boy to win. You don't have to be reckless, disrespectful, or treat women poorly. You don't have to break hearts or play mind games. What you do need is to master the traits that make them so magnetic: independence, confidence, assertiveness, and control over your emotions. You need to walk into every room as if you belong there. You need to move through life with the kind of certainty that makes people believe in you before you even speak. You need to be a man who doesn't just exist, but who dominates his own reality. That's the real lesson here. It's not about being a rebel for the sake of rebellion. It's not about being a jerk just to prove a point. It's about standing firm in who you are. It's about knowing your value so deeply that you never need to prove it to anyone. And when you reach that level, the entire world starts treating you differently. When you stop living for approval, stop chasing, and start walking your own path, everything changes. You don't just attract women. You command respect from everyone. Men want to be you. Women want to be with you. And not because you tricked them into it, but because you became a man they couldn't ignore. So stop hesitating. Stop waiting for permission. Stop looking around for someone to tell you that you're good enough. Own your presence. Own your path. Own your life. Because the second you do, you'll never have to chase again. If you've seen this play out in real life, drop a comment below. Like, subscribe, and let's keep building stronger, more resilient men. Attraction isn't a mystery. It's not about looks, money, or trying to be someone you're not. It's about who you are at your core. Bad boys win not because they're bad, but because they embody what every man should strive for: strength, confidence, independence, and control. They don't seek approval. They don't bend to expectations. They move through life on their own terms. Women don't want a man who asks if he's enough. They want a man who already knows he is. So stop chasing. Stop overthinking. Walk your own path. The moment you do, the right people will follow. If you found this video valuable, Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Share your experiences or what trait you're working on mastering. Let's keep building stronger, more resilient men. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay sharp, and own your presence.